Tonight, several developing stories as we come on the air. President Trump in the UK, his state visit, the royal reception with the Queen, tea with Prince Charles. Would they see eye to eye on climate change? Prince Harry was there today, but not Duchess Meghan. And the president and those headlines about what he said involving Meghan, the audio tonight from that interview. And this evening, bracing for protests, the president not shying away from the political turmoil rocking the UK. Back here at home tonight, the workplace massacre in Virginia Beach. What we've now learned about the alleged gunman who killed so many of his co-workers, what he did just hours beforehand. The major developments in the search for that missing mother, last seen dropping off her children at school. Tonight, her estranged husband and his girlfriend arrested and in court. The cruise ship collision, new pictures tonight as it slams into port. ABC News inside Iran tonight as tensions escalate. Our Martha Raddatz on the streets of Tehran. And the first look tonight on the USS aircraft carrier sent to the region. The daughter badly injured in a shark attack, her father and how he saved her, punching the shark. Two separate cases tonight, the American couple who went to the hospital in Fiji, both of them dying. And the separate case, the couple found in a hotel room in the Dominican Republic, the medical condition they both died from. And return to Normandy, the American heroes from every corner of this country. Tonight, we set out to meet them and journey with them as they go back 75 years later.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us to start off another week. And we begin tonight with President Trump's historic state visit to the UK, the first day full of pomp and pageantry, the royal welcome, but politics and controversy not far behind. The President and First Lady receiving a formal welcome on the grounds of Buckingham Palace and ending the day with shared toasts at a glittering palace dinner. There was a tea with Prince Charles. They don't agree on all issues, particularly climate change. And Prince Harry was on hand today, but no Duchess Meghan. And tonight, London is now bracing for protests in the coming hours, and ABC's Terry Moran leads us off tonight from London.
A resplendent moment at Buckingham Palace this evening. President Trump, in white tie and waistcoat, enters a banquet held in his honor, hosted by Queen Elizabeth herself, with the First Lady escorted by Prince Charles, and Ivanka Trump joining several other family members amid a glittering gathering of notables.
Mr. President.
And then Her Majesty paying tribute to this enduring alliance and raising her glass.
Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you all to rise and drink a toast to President and Mrs. Trump.
President Trump seemed almost awed by it all as he paid tribute to the Queen.
She has embodied the spirit of dignity, duty, and patriotism that beats proudly in every British heart.
The president got the royal treatment all day, from Marine One touching down in the garden of the palace, and Prince Charles greeting the Trumps, escorting them to the Queen on the steps. To the inspection of the honor guard, the president chatting with some of the soldiers. After a private lunch, a tour of the Royal Gallery, Prince Harry there too. A solemn wreath laying at the grave of the unknown warrior in Westminster Abbey. To afternoon tea with Prince Charles and Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall. What's not known, did the prince push the president on climate change, something he's passionate about? But, of course, Trump has stoked controversy here, weighing in on Brexit and on who should succeed outgoing Prime Minister Theresa May, fighting on Twitter with London's mayor. And those words about Meghan Markle, the American-born Duchess of Sussex, wife of Prince Harry. Last week, the president firing back when told by a reporter that Markle had been critical of him back in 2016.
I didn't know that she was nasty.
The White House insists he was describing Meghan's comments, not personally insulting her. The Duchess, on maternity leave, did not attend today's events. But all that seemed far away this evening, where the real estate developer from Queens basked in the honor bestowed on him by the Queen.
It was quite the day. Terry Moran is live outside Buckingham Palace tonight. That state dinner there has just wrapped up, Terry, as we've learned. And ahead of the president's visit, there was talk of protests in London, but today relatively calm. Tomorrow, though, the day when politics comes into play.
That's right, David. The president will meet with the prime minister. Larger protests are expected, including some protests in support of the president. He has supporters here, Britishers wearing MAGA hats. David?
Terry Moran leading us off tonight. Terry, thank you. And back here at home tonight, and the other major headline, what we've now learned after the deadly workplace massacre in Virginia Beach. Tonight, we are seeing the resignation letter the gunman submitted just hours before his killing rampage. 12 people, most of them his co-workers, died in the building where they worked. ABC's Whit Johnson is in Virginia Beach.
Tonight, investigators searching for a motive behind the Virginia Beach mass shooting. Just hours before the massacre, Dwayne Craddock giving his 2 weeks notice, saying in this newly released email, "It has been a pleasure to serve the city, but due to personal reasons, I must relieve my position." The email only adding to the deepening mystery of what triggered the horror.
Shots fired, second floor. Going up the stairs.
The gunfire erupting at 4:08 p.m. Friday. The shooter, police say, armed with 2 handguns, extended magazines, and a silencer. 4 officers on scene within 2 minutes.
Still actively hearing gunshots.
The officers engage the shooter and take him down. The entire ordeal lasting 36 terrifying minutes.
Rounds were coming through doors, were coming through the wall.
12 innocent people killed, including Keith Cox, who colleagues say gave his life to save others.
He said, "Ladies, get in the office. We're going to barricade ourselves." And he said, "I got to check on everybody else. Barricade the door."
David, local police tell me they're still working with federal officials to get more information about how the gunman obtained that silencer, which requires extensive paperwork and law enforcement approval. David?
Whit Johnson with us again tonight. Whit, thank you. There are also grim new details tonight in the case of a missing mother of 5 from Connecticut. She was last seen dropping her children off at school. Her estranged husband and his girlfriend have now been arrested. They were in court today, and what prosecutors tonight are now saying. ABC's Eva Pilgrim is in Connecticut.
Investigators today digging in this Connecticut park in a desperate search for missing mother Jennifer DeLose.
Where is she?
Her estranged husband, Fotis DeLose, now under arrest, arriving at a Connecticut courthouse to face charges of evidence tampering along with his girlfriend, Michelle Troconis. The mother of 5 vanished more than a week ago after dropping her children at school. Her car abandoned. Newly released court documents revealed chilling details about her husband's alleged movements on the day she went missing. Police say a man believed to be Fotis DeLose stopped at over 30 locations, placing multiple garbage bags into various trash receptacles. Troconis allegedly traveling with him. Investigators recovering those bags and clothing with a blood-like substance. Lab tests confirming that blood matches Jennifer DeLose.
You have any idea where your wife is?
Tonight, Fotis DeLose is behind bars. His girlfriend released on $500,000 bond.
Do you know what happened to Jennifer? David, investigators asking the community for any video from around the time that Jennifer disappeared. Prosecutors saying they expect more charges will come. David?
Eva Pilgrim reporting in tonight. Eva, thank you. Next this evening, ABC News inside Iran tonight as tensions escalate with the U.S. President Trump imposing those new sanctions and the Pentagon sending the USS Abraham Lincoln. Tonight, a first look right here on board that aircraft carrier now in the Middle East. ABC's Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz on the streets of Tehran tonight.
Tonight, high above Tehran, Iranians enjoying a cool evening walk. But this nation of 80 million people is caught in a dangerous standoff. President Trump's maximum pressure campaign leaving the economy here in dramatic decline, and its military keeping a close eye on the U.S. warships off its shores. ABC News was aboard the USS Lincoln today, the carrier strike group commander telling us part of his mission to deter Iran.
The threats are credible, and that's why we're here.
But Iran's foreign minister telling me the U.S. should be careful not to escalate the already tense situation.
By engaging in economic terrorism against Iran, then there will be consequences.
Tonight, Zarif tweeting a video of a young boy whose mother, he says, cannot get prosthetic legs for her son because of the sanctions. But the spike in food prices, medicine, and a rapidly declining job market has left nearly everyone struggling.
And Martha Raddatz reporting in from Iran tonight. And Martha, you and I have been to Tehran, both of us reporting on the impact of sanctions before leading up to the Iran nuclear deal. Of course, so much has happened since then. What are you seeing now, the effects of these sanctions right now?
Well, right now, David, it's very much the same as when you and I were here before the nuclear deal was signed and sanctions lifted. You walk in the markets and meat is nearly 60% higher, vegetables nearly 50% higher, and there is a very real fear about what happens next, David.
Martha Raddatz reporting in from Tehran tonight. Martha, thank you. And back here at home tonight in our series, Return to Normandy. This week, we mark the 75th anniversary of D-Day, the day that changed veterans who are going back. They are our fathers, our grandfathers, and true to form, they are modest about what they did. You're about to hear their descriptions of that day. They remember it like it was yesterday, and they hope their country will remember too. In every corner of the country, from fixing planes in this Alabama hangar to quietly reminiscing among treasured photos in Nevada.
Now, this is my war pictures here. All my buddies.
They are the modest heroes who did something extraordinary 75 years ago. You don't know their names. They have asked for little attention. But now we document their return to Normandy. World War II veterans who were there on D-Day and who are now going back.
Harold, Phil, McMurrin. My name is Jack Brown Claiborne, and I was Seaman First Class in the Navy.
My name is Onofrio Zakari. I was in the U.S. Army.
My name's Harold Himmelsbach. I was actually drafted into the Army when I was 18.
And we have set out to meet them, to travel with them as they journey back. Harold.
How are you?
It's an honor. Harold Himmelsbach, raised in Yakima, Washington. He is 93, about to turn 94. You're almost ready to make this trip back. How significant is this?
Very. It was the most dramatic time in my life. And I remember best and saw things that very few people would ever see. And I saw it all.
Harold remembers everything. The morning of June 6th, 1944. That moment when those mines began to explode. That was the moment you knew.
Right. You better believe it. It was dramatic. It just blows up in your face. I was saved, other guys died within feeding me.
They had all been training for D-Day. Did you know what you were training for?
Yes. Everybody knew what we were doing. We were going to go and defeat the Germans.
So you all knew what you were going to do?
Oh, yes.
You just didn't know when?
That's right. That's right.
They woke up Harold and his brothers on that ship at 3 a.m., told them to eat and to get their gear.
And all of a sudden, I'm out on the deck when the first explosions took place. So I had no gear on or anything else. I was just didn't even have my helmet on. And all of a sudden, this explosion took place right next to us. And it just, of course, was a shock, obviously. And it just, all of a sudden, the water came up over my head and washed over the top of us and everything. I was knocked around and down. It was a tremendous jolt because it was actually tearing parts of the ship open.
That was just the first explosion.
Right.
And as you're standing there getting your bearings,
right,
a second explosion.
Right. The second was more violent. That was a powerful explosion, the second one. And that's why it did so much damage.
This was the moment brave sons became men.
I remember I had to pick up one guy's head, you know, because he'd been cut and so forth, and you almost took it as the reality of where you were. In other words, you knew you had to do these things.
That reality at 18 years old. A reality he shares with veterans all over this country. Harold McMurrin, Newmarket, Alabama.
People say, how did you get off that boat and go in on the beach? There was a job had to be done. Somebody had to do it. We did it.
Onofrio Zakari, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Man, I was scared. I didn't realize what war was until that day. It was awful.
At 96, he remembers D-Day, even the smell.
To this day, I have flashbacks. I smell diesel oil. Right away, I think of D-Day. Can't help it. I just can't help it.
Jack Claiborne, Dyersburg, Tennessee. He was a gunner on that day.
Seeing all of these boys that was killed and just laying there on the beach, and it was just tough. And for a little old kid to handle. And we were all young.
Vincent Unger, Orlando, Florida, in the Navy.
We were the first on that beach on Utah. Terrible sound from the cannons and the bomb dropping, everything all around us. It was a fire, explosions.
And back on that ship, Harold, who woke up at 3 a.m., ate breakfast with his brothers on that ship, had learned he'd already lost one of them in the first explosion.
It was just take care of your friend, and that's what we all did. We were all Americans.
You jumped in to save others.
That's right.
All of these men who were so young when they were sent in on D-Day, now packing up, some of them driving to the airport, ready to go back.
I'm ready to go.
Harold, with the letter he wrote to his mother, just days after storming that beach.
I'm looking at this letter you wrote to your mom.
He tells me he hasn't read it in years, but he was about to read it to me.
Dear Mom, I suppose I should begin this by telling you I am somewhere in France.
He was extremely careful with his words.
You were being careful because of the censors, and also careful because it was your mom.
My mom, mothers are sensitive too, see.
And he shows us the photo his mother demanded he get taken the moment he returned home. Proof she had her son back.
So this handsome young man is going back to Normandy.
That's right. I made it.
And for all of these men tonight, a simple hope for some closure, for some peace of mind, and for a country that will never forget.
Harold, how important is it that America not forget what it is?
You can't forget. You can't forget. I'm very proud of being involved.
Well, we're proud of you.
Okay.
And thankful.
Okay.
Grateful.
Okay.
We will be in Normandy with those World War II veterans for the 75th anniversary later this week. Reporting from London for the broadcast tomorrow night, and then from Normandy Wednesday and Thursday. And of course, we hope you'll be with us all week here. In the meantime, we turn to other news tonight and the mysterious deaths of 2 American tourists on the Pacific island of Fiji. David and Michelle Paul suddenly became sick the day before they were set to return home to Fort Worth, Texas. They got to the hospital, but they died there. The couple's children are being cared for by family. It's believed they might have contracted some kind of virus. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Monday. The teenager and the horrible shark attack. How her father saved her life punching that shark. But what's happened now? The American couple found dead inside the Dominican Republic, a hotel room. This is a separate case. Officials say they both had fluid in their lungs. And new images tonight of that runaway cruise ship slamming into the dock and what we've now learned. A lot more news ahead here. We turn next tonight to the horrible shark attack off a North Carolina beach. A 17-year-old girl was badly injured and likely saved by her own father. ABC's Gio Benitez is in North Carolina.
Tonight, we are hearing the frightening 911 calls after a shark attacked 17-year-old Paige Winter at a packed North Carolina beach.
There has been a shark attack. There's somebody in the water bleeding.
The attack happening Sunday at midday near Atlantic Beach.
Is she awake and breathing?
If she is, she's barely. She's in bad shape. I mean, her leg is almost gone.
ABC News learning Paige's father saved her life by punching the shark on its head 5 times. A local fisherman capturing dramatic images of the sharks in the area just days ago. And David, tonight Paige is speaking out through a statement saying in part, although I have extensive injuries, including an amputated leg and damage to my hands, I will be okay. David?
Very brave. All right, Gio, thank you. When we come to the index and new images tonight of that cruise ship slamming into port in Venice, Italy. The ship slamming into a smaller tourist boat tied to the dock after a tugboat cable snapped. Several people scrambling for safety. At least 5 people were injured. And the Maryland couple discovered dead inside their hotel room in the Dominican Republic. Edward Holmes and Cynthia Day were found when they didn't check out. Officials citing respiratory failure and fluid in the lungs as the cause of death for both. No reported signs of foul play. America strong, she did it. The class of 2019 at Olathe Northwest High School in Kansas City, Kansas. That's senior Anna Sorol in her wheelchair. Paralyzed nearly 4 years ago after a gymnastics accident, she hasn't walked since, but she's been working hard.
Anna Kirsten Sorol.
She hoists herself up, and watch what she does next. walking across that stage. A standing ovation from her class. And this message from Anna tonight.
Hi, David. Yeah, so on my graduating day, it was very emotional. I took it all in and got all the positive vibes and to help me use it physically and get across that stage while walking with using my braces.
Anna and her 2 milestones on that stage.
We're cheering for you too, Anna. Good night.